Day trading versus hodling. Who's right and who's wrong? That's what we got to figure out today. Who's going to make the most money in 2021? As we know, day trading is in and out, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, dodging all these things very quickly. Hodling is this holding on for dear life. And a lot of times when it comes to that, emotions are involved. Let's just take a look at what Jocko Willink has to say about emotions.
Train humans to not get emotional in pressure situations. Why? Because it's gonna end up bad every single time.
Just saying.
From making millions of dollars as a day trader for 15 years and now mentoring students who are making $18,000 in a day, to making millions running an online course and coaching business and now mentoring students who are making $70,000 per month. I know how to make money online, but it's time to give back. So I'm gonna give away over $10,000 worth of my online day trading and entrepreneur courses for absolutely free. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button, and I'll be running a small budget of advertisements retargeting people who subscribe to this channel. Subscribe now and be on the lookout for that secret advertisement that will give you access to all my programs for free.
All right, guys, so I did in fact make $164,000 in the month of March, strictly day trading, zero hodling whatsoever. That doesn't mean that hodling isn't a strategy that can work and cannot make you a shitload of money. In fact, day trading, I gave up a lot of huge profits that I could have had, of which we'll go over later in this video, by selling way too early, by not hodling and holding for the bigger bulk of gains. I look at everything rationally and logically, as we have two love stories here, day trading versus hodling, which is the one. And I would have to say that in the game of cryptocurrency, day trading is definitely what I would call the minority, of which I call myself a day trader. I would say I'm in the minority. As hodlers is where most people are doing their thing in cryptocurrency, and I would say that's kind of the majority of what's going on here, okay? I'm not saying either are right or wrong. It really just boils down to what works for you and how are you doing this for yourself and what's actually working. Maybe both are working, right? I'm not gonna fucking pick a side and be like, you're right and I'm wrong, like fucking America and the whole entire world is so fucking closed-minded, they can't even look at the opposite side. They would rather just go to war and create all this hatred inside of themselves, which creates a lot of emotions, which is why I have this little emotions things over here for the hodlers, because they're fucking psychotic. Just like 99% or the majority of the world are fucking psychotic, and I hate almost everyone. Not everyone, but almost everyone. It's getting pretty close to everyone. People are emotional. And so that's kind of what we're gonna look at today, of looking at kind of the rationale and the logic behind both of them. You know, me, myself, I'm a 16-year veteran day trader in the stock market, which now is actually migrated over to crypto. And in fact, my biggest month ever in my 16-year career of trading stock market was $70,000. Now, my crypto career just started in August of 2020, and I already broke that record by more than double with 160,000. Is that more than double? I don't know. I'm not a fucking mathematician. I'm a psychoanalyst day trader, okay? But $164,000 just this last month alone, and we'll get into exactly what I did. But first, I just want to kind of break down the logic and reasoning behind day trading and hodling and kind of why I personally choose day trading. Right? You can hodl if you want. This, what I personally do and what I teach my students in the Krypton course is why day trading for me and why I think this is a much more rational way of looking at things and a logical way of looking at things and a way of potentially making a lot more money than hodling, because hodling is pretty difficult, even though it sounds simple, to just buy and hold and do nothing else, okay? So let's take a look at kind of the theory of what day trading is and why I personally do it. First and foremost, this is kind of the strategy for day traders. One, you need to have a good looking chart, right? We use what's called technical analysis to kind of base all of our decision making off of, because we know based on previous history, a lot of times when these patterns form up, we can get kind of an idea of what might be coming and happening in the not so distant future based on that pattern has repeated itself over and over throughout the course of history in trading the markets. And I call it the truth because a lot of times when people are looking at an idea or a story that they're trying to buy into, like, oh, this is the next crypto coin, that they're solving this problem, it's so fucking cool, this is the next big thing, this is the next Ethereum. A lot of times people come up with this opinion and this idea that this is their get rich quick scheme. The market might not agree with that. Right? The market and the chart is continually sliding to the downside and eating shit, and they're losing a bunch of money. They're not objectively looking at the chart and what is the truth. The only truth is what is today's current price and what is the market saying it's valued at. That's why looking at the chart is always first and foremost the first thing. And I always say in all my training, say when the chart's talking, it pays to listen. When it's not talking, it's probably losing you money. What is up, guys? Brief interruption here. I got some big news. IKNK FX and Cam Fous has just partnered up with HeyForex.com, the #1 trading broker in the game. And let me tell you why. First of all of you guys want low deposits. We got low deposits. All you guys want big leverage. We got 500 to 1. And not only is this a Forex broker, you can trade Forex, you can trade crypto, you can trade stocks, you can trade CFDs, which means you can trade gold, silver, oil, basically every asset. Never miss a trade again by partnering up with us and joining Hey Forex Broker. I just joined as well. Checked it out. You can use MT4 on your desktop as well as your mobile. It's absolutely insane to have this much leverage and be able to trade every asset and never miss a trade again. So check it out, heyforex.com. There's gonna be a link below to get started right now and start your journey. So it's always, all my trades begin and end with the chart. And also when you're looking at the chart, that gives you the ability to look at your risk and reward, right? When you're only focusing on the story of a hodler, which is mostly just the story of which we'll get into, you're not calculating that fact. A lot of people, a coin could have just ran 800% in a month, and people are like, well, it's probably a good buy because this story is really fucking big, but they're not factoring in the fact that this thing just went up 800% in a month. And the reality is that it can easily, the higher that parabolic move is, the more likely that that bubble, that current bubble, is potentially about to bust and see a massive 30 to 50 to 70% drop, which would put them in a huge drawdown. So they're not looking at, is this a good time to buy based on what just happened in the current market, right? So when you're looking at day trading, you're really focusing on finding the best risk reward. You want to find the lowest risk so you're not potentially going to lose money, and looking for the highest risk because you want a chart that's looking like it's on the verge of making a potential big move. Not looking at, oh, what's the biggest story play right now? The coin that has the best utility that could be the next Ethereum. Even though you might, once you stumble across that story, it might have just run up 5,000% in the last 2 months. And you're like, I'm still buying here. When the likelihood of it crashing and going down from there is very probable because you're not looking at the chart based on what price action is. And that's just theoretically, it's not even theory. Every bubble, every parabolic move, if you don't know what a parabolic move is, it's when you see a chart that goes like this in a very short amount of time. 100% of the time, it crashes at some point. It's not to say that it can't go up in a year or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 years, but buying up here isn't very good. That ruins your RR, your risk reward, all right? So it's important to understand the truth about price action and the truth about risk reward. It makes it a lot more sound and logical and safer way to actually trade and invest your money. So that's first and foremost. The next part of day trading, which is the only thing that has the similarity to hodling, is the story. Basically, all this means is, what is the utility of this token or coin or stock or whatever you're trading? What is backing this move? Because a lot of times we're first looking for a chart that's making some sort of move. Right now, we see volume coming in, we're seeing buying coming in, right? So there's something happening here, but why? And there's usually some sort of story, press release, news release, or just the overall thesis of what is the white paper about this token? Why is this the next big thing? And why is this gonna go up? And if we can look at it objectively and be like, damn, that is kind of cool. A lot of other people are also gonna think that's cool. And that's where you see a lot of people coming in to buy and creating a lot of demand for that, pushing the price of that token up. So that's why it is important. This isn't something that I typically look at a lot. A lot of times I can just look at the chart, and based off of volume and price action, I can tell there's some sort of story going on here. And if I want to dig deeper into what that story is, that might give me a little bit more confidence to hold on to it longer. But sometimes when I get too wrapped up in this story, it ruins my strategy, which we'll talk about next, because I get too emotionally involved, like, well, this could go up to 1,000% when it's only at 20% now, because this story is so fucking good, right? So sometimes this story can ruin a lot of profits because you get so caught up into it and you're not focusing on the truth. What is the chart saying? Is all of a sudden this story that you're so wrapped up in not working anymore, and the chart's just fucking eating shit? You're like, well, I still believe in it. And what if it never comes back up? What if that story is actually bullshit? That's something that you do definitely have to consider, and something I definitely consider, because I know based on the psychology of the market, that's where we're gonna see a bunch of fucking people come in and buy this thing and drive that price action up, so we can see those parabolic moves, you know, those 1x to 2x to 3x moves that we can capitalize in a short amount of time. So that's what I'm looking for, is a story based on, not that I fucking give a shit about the long-term story, But how am I going to anticipate a bunch of fucking sheep buying into this because they think that this is going to be the next big thing, right? And then I can take advantage of that short-term price action. What goes up in the next few days based on the story in the chart, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I'm in and out, walking away onto the next trade, while a bunch of other people are stuck on this story for the next 1 to 2 years, thinking that this is going to be, you know, the thing that gets them out of, you know, their shitty situation, and finally they can retire in peace, right? Which a lot of people get caught up in that. The next part is executing the strategy. In day trading, you definitely have to have a strategy. Mine is called the Krypton strategy, basically a migration of the Fous 4 strategy. The Fous 4 was something that I traded for 16 plus years, and I still teach at IKNK Traders. Now I have IKNK FX, where I teach Krypton, which is an adaptation of that 16-year strategy implemented into crypto. A lot of it is the same, but there is a lot of things different because crypto is a whole new ball game. What I like to tell people is, like, this is a situation where, you know, a lot of people say, I wish I could go back in time, knowing what I know now. And that's literally what I'm doing in crypto, is going back in time 16 years with 16 years of knowledge and now implementing it into this new market, knowing what I know now after 16 years of trading the stock market. That's why I've done so well since I started in August of 2020 with $20,000, and now my account's worth over 500K with just 164,000 profit of that just in this last month alone. And when it comes to strategy, it's just all about discipline and execution. Understanding a strategy is extremely simple. It's very, very simple. It's like just memorizing flashcards, like, okay, this is what I need to do in these certain situations. But actually executing that strategy, you need a lot of fucking discipline, because a lot of times when you're coming into this, a lot of this, you have emotion, and that affects your ability to actually execute the strategy. And a lot of this emotion for most people comes in, one, they're just not used to volatility, which is this very extreme large movements in price action. A lot of times people are too caught up in the story or the marketing, right? I say marketing down here, I kind of forgot to mention this because, you know, storytelling is massive, right? When you get people on board with a certain story, that's where the biggest companies are, like Apple. Apple is great at marketing because they're good at storytelling and having the story behind this massive brand and company, right? It becomes a cult. And that's what a lot of these coins are. They're fucking cults. Coin cult culture. I call them fuckboy fanboys, is what I call them, right? Because they're so wrapped up in this story and they can't even think clearly, can't even look at the chart. Even if the chart goes to fucking zero, they're still gonna be wrapped up in this story. Like, this, I lost it all, but what is story? Right? It's too good. So people are so wrapped up in this that they lose their discipline, they fail to execute, and they get emotionally involved. And that's what a lot of times when people can't actually implement a strategy. So for me, that's what I look for. I look for a good chart, something that I know that I can anticipate something happening in the near future. I look for a good story because if that chart also breaks out, that's going to increase volume and buying. Then more and more people are going to find this chart, be like, okay, why is this one moving? Then people are going to buy into this story because that's what trading psychology is, good marketing. That's a lot of all this is. And I know that the better the story, the more fucking idiots will continue to buy even after it's up 100% in the last week. I don't buy things that are up 100% in the last week, but a bunch of fucking idiots will. And I'm actually selling to them, right? Because I bought down here. Chart, story, and then strategy is just having a strategy that you can implement so you can understand, you know, breakouts in these movements, resistance and support and supply and demand, and understanding which price levels should I be selling at, understanding which price levels should I be buying at down here, and understanding the risk reward so you don't fuck yourself and buy up at the top with the potential of it going down, you know, 20 to 50% in a very short amount of time, right? So that's in theory what I look at as a day trader. Now, let's take a look at the hodler story, which is kind of what the majority of a lot of people do. Okay, so basically the only thing that's in common with the hodl and day trading is you're getting rid of what? The truth. You're getting rid of risk reward, you're getting rid of the chart, and you're also getting rid of strategy, which also gets rid of discipline and execution, which then what? If you don't have discipline and execution, all that creates is more emotion that I have over here. So, right, so most people in the cryptocurrency game, and I'm not saying this is bad because I still do think we are early in cryptocurrency, and some of these stories are gonna have fucking massive ROIs, and there is gonna be a lot of money to be made for some people that do hodl the right tokens. I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but I'm just gonna objectively look at why this is a little bit more risky and why I don't personally necessarily do it, other than XRP, kind of fucking fanboy over here. XRP, I got 200,000 tokens, but I could care fucking less about XRP, right? If XRP fucking loses the SE case, I'll sell it and walk away. I don't fucking care. Fine. I'm not going to fucking cry about it like a little baby, but I do see potential there in XRP. If they win the case, this thing's going to explode. But if it doesn't, I'm not fucking betting my whole fucking basket of eggs on it. If it eats shit, I think it'll be actually funny, because I think there's so many people emotionally involved in this story of XRP that I think it would be funny if they all lost, because they're not looking at any other objective. They won't even look at the risks. And when you won't even look at the risk and you don't even calculate risk reward of the chance of it being wrong, you deserve to lose. It's not that I want people to lose money. If you're so dumb that you can't even set up a contingency plan, if all else fails, you deserve to lose. It's just stupid. But when we look at the story, really the only two things that we're looking at is psychology and marketing. How well can this marketing and the story influence the psychology of the masses to continually buy this thing? And again, the problem with that is, and just like Jocko Willink said, you know, emotions, when people make emotional decisions, it doesn't turn out well 100% of the time, okay? And the more wrapped up you are in a story of a token, the more emotionally connected you are, and the harder it is to make rational decisions, especially if you are looking at the chart and all of a sudden the chart starts eating shit and it keeps going down. All you're doing is continually looking at the story, no matter what, no contingency plan. You're willing to lose everything based on this story. That might not work out. It depends on what you're looking at. If you look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, obviously both great stories that probably aren't gonna eat shit. Probably over the next 10 years, they're gonna go up, okay? But there's a lot of shitty altcoins that probably aren't gonna go up. You know, a lot of people are buying into stories. People are creating all these fucking Telegram groups everywhere and just fucking circle jerking each other, you know, encouraging each other about why and how this is the next big thing. And don't worry guys, oh, it's down 50%. Don't worry guys, oh fuck, it dropped another 50%. Don't worry guys, keep jerking harder. It's so stupid and scary that there's that many people who are willing to lose so much money based on some story that a lot of them don't even really know that much about. They're just listening to some other person that created some Telegram group. And a lot of people are just wrapped up in the whole emotional story of all of this, and they're getting rid of strategy and they're getting rid of risk and reward, right? Two very important things. But when you get rid of risk reward and you get rid of strategy and only focus on the story, you're really just playing with your emotions. And that's a very dangerous thing. Just as Jocko Willink said in the beginning that I showcased in this video, when people make emotional decisions, it makes it very difficult to come out on top successfully. And I'm not saying that you can't. There's gonna be a lot of people that hodl through some of the right coins and they're gonna make a lot of money. Now, another downside, a lot of things that are gonna happen when hodling is, one, people have no strategy. So it's like, you ask a hodler, what is your strategy? And they're gonna be like, I'm just holding long-term, bro. Like, what do you mean? Like, how long? Like, just long-term, bro. Like, so are you just gonna hold it until you're dead? Like, what are you doing with your money, right? Are you trying to grow it? What's happening? When are you gonna sell it? No matter what, you're just gonna hold it forever? Why do you even have it then? You're just gonna die? And you're gonna, like, what's the point? So, I mean, I guess if you're leaving stuff for your kids, but I don't necessarily want to leave anything for my kids. I want them to fucking make their own life, right? I mean, I hope I have stuff to give my kids and I hope I can raise them in a quality home that I built. But as far as just like leaving them a bunch of shit so they don't have to fucking work, fuck that. I don't want to fucking hand feed them shit. I want them to work for their own money and I'll put it fucking somewhere else. I'll donate it all to charity. Sorry, son and daughter, fucking make your own life, right? Don't be a little bitch, right? That's what I had to do. So fuck you. Even though I love you, I just don't want to raise no little bitch, punk ass kid. You know, not having a strategy is usually what happens is people get caught up in a parabolic move. They think they're fucking just got rich. They never get rid of it. And it eventually bubbles always pop. They lose a lot of fucking money. Or they bought up here trying to hodl, thinking that's going to go up and then it comes back down. You know, looking long term, just like Bitcoin, say this is 2017. And then now in 2021, it went back down to 3,000 from 20,000 and now is up at what? 50, 60,000 now, right? So that's, you know, a lot of people are gonna be like, I told you so. But there was 4 years in between here where you could have done a shitload of things to make a fuckload of money, okay? In 4 years with the profits you could have had, that all happened within the span of like 6 months or whatever it was, you know, not a long time. And so then what did you do? Freak out and be emotional wreck because you lost all your money for 4 years? That doesn't sound fun. And then now you're finally like, look, I told you so. Okay, sure, maybe, but you could have done a lot in 4 years. Instead of wasting 4 years of your life, emotional wreck because you were at a loss, a massive massive loss for many, many years, wondering if it's ever going to come back up, when you could have flipped that money and exponentially grown your money for 4 years and then rebought in 2021 and then double or triple your money again. Okay. Another thing that the problem is with hodling, if you buy into one token or coin, so you buy something at $1, okay, it goes up, now it's at $2. Okay, that's 100% return, right? But now you're hodling it. You're like, this one's going to $1 million, right? But from it to go to 2 to 4, another 100% move, that's much less likely, okay, to see another 100% move in a short amount of time. And then from 4 to 8, that's even more unlikely to see another 100% move. So to double your money every time it goes up and doubles, to double it again is much, much harder. If you're day trading, right, the opposite of that, you just find one play that made a 100% move, you get in, get out, and then you fucking sell it. Move the fuck on. Okay, that one did it. It did that in the side of 5 days, right? Like a week. Easy money, quick money. And now you get rid of that one because the probability of this doubling again in another short period of time is very, very low. But if we can take that money, that profit, and then go find a new altcoin that's in the same exact situation as this, the probability of finding another 100% move within a 5-day period is much, much higher. And that's why I prefer day trading, because I can exponentially grow my account much faster than holding long-term 4 to 5 to 6 years, hoping for it to be a 30x token or something like that, right? It's much easier to grow exponentially by flipping your profits in and out of what's looking good today, right? Because what you hold and hodl might look good for a week and then nothing happens for fucking 6 months, right? So there's 6 months downtime of you doing fuck all, emotionally distraught because you were up 100%, then it dropped 50%. Now you're like, fuck, is this ever gonna go back up? And you're sitting there still circle jerking all your buddies in the Telegram group, waiting and hoping. When instead of fuck the circle jerk for 6 months, locking your profits, find the next one that's moving right now that could look like it's moving in the next, 1 to 5 days. Okay, so that's personally what I do when it comes to day trading. And this is basically just an analysis and look of what every trade looks like and every investment looks like on a timeline, right? So every trade, it starts out small, right? People are like, okay, maybe this is the next move. There's a wolf and he finds it. He's like, ooh, this is a good one. It's a good chart, good story. I'm gonna use my strategy and implement that on this. So the risk is low, right? Not a lot of people know about it. And some other wolves start buying in and the price action continually goes up, indicated by the diamond being bigger, but now it's getting a little bit more medium because price maybe just blew up, 25%. And now all the fucking sheep are like, dude, did you hear about blah, blah, blah? Yeah, there's this Telegram group. They're all fucking talking about it. And that's when price is like really fucking high. It's already up 100%. Everybody's fucking talking about it and they're all buying in, and their fucking risk of this is super high. A lot of these people are now doing what? They're buying into just the fucking story, but they're not actually looking at the chart, and they totally fucked up their risk reward because they bought into this after it just made 100 to 150% plus move, and they're just buying into the story, and their strategy is kind of fucked because there is no strategy at this point. You're just buying into it because you're all fucking a bunch of sheep in Telegram groups circle jerking each other talking about how this thing's gonna 100x. This is kind of the way it happens the majority of the time, and for me, I just flip this thing over and over and over again. I look for these low risk diamonds in the rough, I buy into them, they go up 100 and 150%, sometimes even higher than that. I sell to all these sheep that buy into now finally story after it's up 200% because they scan for like, all right, let's look for the top gainers. That's my strategy. I'm gonna look for the ones that are up the highest today because those are the ones that I'm gonna buy. That means they're already too fucking late. So then they buy into that story. The strategy in the chart is totally fucked at that point, or a high reward, low risk standpoint, which puts them at a lot of risk, right? So that's simply kind of how it goes down. I kind of rambled on there. That is day trading versus hodling in a nutshell. I'm not gonna say either is right or wrong. There's gonna be some people that make a fuckload of money hodling the right coins, but for me personally, I can make a lot more money by day trading. So let's just take a look at some of the coins that I traded in the last 30 days to make $164,000. All right, I don't know how I just rambled on for about 20 minutes on that. I'm gonna make this kind of brief here. Kind of the main maybe 4 tokens that I traded to basically over and over again. Some of them were very big, and these were where I made most of my money. So first and foremost, basically what I look for is breakout patterns. So again, I start with the chart, and then I look for the story, and then I look to implement my strategy, right? Buy and get in and get out. And a lot of times, like I said before in the beginning, by just day trading and not hodling, I miss out massively on a lot of the profits. So first and foremost was BTT BitTorrent. Honestly, As far as the story goes, I have no idea what this one even does. I just love the chart. Like I said before, a lot of times just looking at the chart, I can tell that there's something going on with the story. And that could be multiple different things, whether it be it's in an industry or sector that's moving, such as NFTs, whether it's DeFi, you know, whether it's a Ethereum based thing like Polkadot, which is a new ecosystem, whatever it is, right? Whatever is currently moving that sector, that's where we see a lot of momentum. And then everybody's just looking for the next one that might actually be the next big thing, or where people might put their money in to take advantage of a short-term opportunity, such as what I do. So BTT, I got into this pre-breakout before all this happened, right? So I was looking at this right here, looking at, okay, this thing is flagging up, it's forming up a potential triangular breakout pattern. Looking at this chart like this, like, okay, maybe this could get in a big move. And so I'm gonna buy into this pre-breakout because I like to get into things pre-breakout. I like to get into things before they move, before the story is there. And obviously there was a story at some point where this saw a massive spike in volume, and then it took another, 1 to 2 months before it actually made another move. So I got in here, of which I alerted in my Wolf Alerts. If you don't know, Wolf Alerts, I send out all my buys and sells via Telegram in real time to a pretty big group of people who are willing to pay for it because they want to know what exactly I'm doing personally with my money. Okay, so I sent out an alert here sometime in this flag pre-breakout, which then led to eventually this thing breaking out over the all-time highs. And I actually sold this, I think, somewhere in this range, right in here. I think I made 30 to 40K on BitTorrent because I'm trading pretty sizable positions now, somewhere around, $70 to $100,000 plus per position. And so, making a 20 to 30 to 40% move, that means 20 to 30 or 40 grand in profit per trade. And again, right, if I would have hodled this a little bit longer, I didn't really have any reason to sell it other than I just made a lot of money in a very short amount of time, but it's still trending above the 13 and 20, and it just keeps going up. So I got in down here at about 16, 17 cents, and I sold in the mid 20s, and then it flagged. Now it's up at, what is high as 53, but I sold all the way down here. Like I said, all I'm looking for is these kind of opportunities, get in, get out, and then look for my money to put it in the next one, as opposed to hoping that this thing goes up forever, because that's not very rational and not very logical, right? And I can make a lot of money faster by flipping my profits into new things. So that was BTT. Still looks fucking great, still rolling. The next big one was CHR, which I sold way early, okay? So CHR was the next biggest one. I think this might have been the one that I had like a 30 or 40K day on CHR, but similar situation, right? There was some sort of big volume spike, some kind of story. People started talking about it. Then 1 or 2 months went by where continually to form up this pattern in which I got in multiple times. I got in, I think, right here, then I stopped out, then I bought back in at about 8 or 9 cents, and then I sold like my first bunch at like 12, and then I think I sold my last at like 21 cents. That was the highest I sold, at 21. And then this thing just fucking skyrocketed up as high as 76 cents, right? So I sold at 21 cents. After it went up to 76, right? So a lot of times, if I would hodl a little bit longer, we go diamond hands, I could make more money. But that's just not how I look at things. When you're looking at it in the moment, and you see this, right? This is what we were looking at prior to that, making that move, okay? You're like, well, fuck, that looks fucking good. Like, shit. I just bought it 8 cents and now it's up to, 22. That's a lot of fucking money. I better lock this in before this thing eats shit. In hindsight, you don't know what the hell's gonna happen. I have no idea if it's gonna go to fucking 80 cents. Nobody does. Except for all the fucking circle jerkers. I told you so. I told you we were jerking. No, you didn't know shit. You got essentially lucky based on whatever story is happening here, and a bunch of people were willing to continually pay higher prices, right? Because this doesn't happen all the time. But like I said, that's why sometimes hodling can be a better decision, because if I would have hodled to that with $100,000, I would have been up what? Fucking $600,000-$700,000 on this. Instead, I made like, 30 or 40, 50 grand on it. There's a lot of money to be made if you do hodl on the right ones, but a lot of times people never sell. They walk through this whole entire thing. They think they're rich, and then a lot of times things keep coming crashing down, or people are buying up here because they're buying in the story, not looking at the chart, not looking at the risk reward, and all of a sudden next thing you know, they're down 50%. So that's not something I'm willing to do, but I am willing to buy something that's pre-breakout looking like it's already gonna make a move. So CHR was another big one. I don't know how much I made on this. I think 30, 40, 50K on it. I don't look at like my individual P&L on like per trade. I don't even think my broker does that. I just look at what is the last 30 days, of which I've already shown on the screenshot, which is 164,000. The next one was NBS and Cocos, which I traded multiple times. NBS is a fucking son of a bitch. I traded this multiple times. This breakout, I locked in some profits. This breakout, locked in some profits. I got stopped out a few times. I rebought back in here, made some money, bought back in again several times in here, stopped out for baby gains, and then it finally is fucking ripping all-time highs right now. Okay, so this thing was a pain in the ass just looking at the intraday chart, but this is one that I flipped a whole bunch of times, but you can see just the intraday just barely ever gets the right fucking move, and it's all over the place. The next one was Cocos, of which I bought and sold multiple times in between here and here. I think I made 20 to 30K on this run up. Then I rebought down here, made some more money, and then I bought again right here and made some money on this one again. So I'm constantly just recycling and flipping for profits. And then I tried to buy in again here and stopped out on Cocos over here. The next one, of which is currently what I'm in now, is WTC. And I bought down here on WTC for the first trade, took advantage of this spike right here. Then I sold for profits. And then I think I tried to trade this 1 or 2 times for baby gains. I would basically buy in looking for the all-time high spike. It wouldn't break out and I would sell for about break even, buy in again here, stop out for break even, because I'm always flat or forward. I don't like losing money. I don't like going into a drawdown because hoping something goes back up, you don't know, right? So if something is about to go into a losing position, I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'm out. I'm not letting this go into a losing position. I'm not interested. I'll buy it back. There's no fucking problem with that. But to allow yourself to lose, that's the only way people blow up their accounts. That's why 95 to 98% of traders lose their money, is because they're willing to let these things go into big losing positions, and then things continue to drop, then they freak out and they sell at the bottom before things bounce. It's very difficult. So right now, I actually have about $130-something thousand in WTC at about 164 to 168. And when it's high as 2230, 219. So I was up like over 30,000 in profits when this was at all-time highs, right? Now, I'm not sure how much I'm up on it, but just by calculating, I was up like 28 or 30K at its highs. And I still think it could potentially go. It really depends, because you also have to look at what Bitcoin's doing. If Bitcoin is in a slide like this and you're buying a bunch of altcoins, they're probably gonna be sliding as well. But if Bitcoin's going up like this and it's in this massive run, altcoins are probably gonna go up. But then all of a sudden Bitcoin eats shit, altcoins are probably not gonna go up, right? So you have to look, and I always look at objectively what's happening with Bitcoin, because that kind of determines the overall sentiment of the market. And sometimes if I feel like Bitcoin or Ethereum are about to eat shit, I'll go long and BTH down or ETH down, of which one time this protected my ass big time this month. And then I also lost like 12, 15K on the last one on ETH down and BTC down, because I was in both of those for about 100K each positions. But then WTC came in, saved the day with a 100K position. Then all of a sudden, next thing you know, I was up like 20, 30K on this. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Looking at the last screenshot on my account, the month of March, I'm up $164,000 simply by just looking for these things, looking for the chart. Okay, what's the story? Is this an NFT? Is this a DeFi? Why is this industry moving? Is this even in that industry? Is that why it's moving? Okay, it is. That means the chart's gonna move, volume's gonna pick up, a bunch of people are gonna see it and be like, why is this moving? What's the story? Oh my God, blah, 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 blah. Circle jerk. And then it goes up and I sell it, okay? And then it all of a sudden fizzles out, goes down, and people are still trying to fucking powwow circle jerk, hoping it goes back up a year from now when it might not. When I just locked in gains within a week, only that move happened within a week, and then that move might not happen for another fucking year. So that's why I get in, get out, lock in my profit, and then recycle that profit, rinse and repeat into the next opportunity that looks like it's moving right now. I don't look for things that already moved. I look for things that are about to potentially move and make those big 20 to 30 to 50 to 200% moves in the next week. And I can capitalize that in a very short-term fashion. So anyways, guys, that's kind of just objectively looking at why I day trade, kind of the story and case for people who want to hodl. And as you saw many times, me getting in and out very quickly, I gave up a lot of fucking money, like CHR. I sold the last bit of it at 20, then it went to 76. It depends on how you want to do it, right? I'm biased towards day trading because that's just how I made money for 16 years. Never been an investor. I've never been a long-term holder. For me, the rationale behind that just doesn't mesh well with my brain. And I've seen a lot of people buy into stories this so many times, then continually buy up here. And a lot of times it never fucking comes back up. Okay, so that's just not how I look at things. Doesn't mean it's the wrong way to look at things. Doesn't mean you can't do that and might not fucking get rich by buying into one of these and getting in and get out at the right time because your fucking hands are so diamond from doing all that jerking. But that's just not how I do it. I don't want to circle jerk people. I just want to ride solo like a lone wolf. I'm not a sheep, I'm a fucking wolf. And that's what I want to teach you guys, is how to be a wolf and find these opportunities before they happen. And then you can decide if you want to day trade it or hodl it, right? But at least you get into these opportunities first by understanding the chart. And then once this chart starts popping, that's when people start buying into the story, just like this. I want to teach you guys how to become wolves and not be the fucking idiots circle jerking like sheep over here after it already went up 500%. And then you're hoping and praying it goes up another 500% after it just went up 500%. It's not very logical, and it reduces the risk reward, and the probability of it doing that again is very low. But anyways, guys, that's a wrap for today. Fous, holy shit, that was a long video. I'm very sorry, but if you made it through the whole thing, props to you. Probably learned a little bit. Anyways, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.